A party system is a concept in comparative political science concerning the system of government by political parties in a democratic country. The idea is that political parties have basic similarities: they control the government, have a stable base of mass popular support, and create internal mechanisms for controlling funding, information and nominations. The concept was originated by European scholars studying the United States, especially James Bryce and Moisey Ostrogorsky, and has been expanded to cover other democracies. Giovanni Sartori devised the most widely used classification method for party systems. He suggested that party systems should be classified by the number of relevant parties and the degree of fragmentation. Party systems can be distinguished by the effective number of parties. Types of party systems: dominant party system, a system where there is a category of parties, political organizations that have successively won election victories and whose future defeat cannot be envisaged or is unlikely for the foreseeable future. Non-partisan system, a system of government or organization such that universal and periodic elections take place without reference to political parties. One-party system, a system in which a single political party has the right to form the government, usually based on the existing constitution. Two-party system, a system where two major political parties dominate politics within a government. Multi-party system, a system in which multiple political parties have the capacity to gain control of government offices, separately or in coalition. Other types of party systems: third-party system, system where only three parties have a realistic possibility of winning an election or forming a coalition. Stalled third-party system, a third-party system when there are three parties and all three parties win a large number of votes, but only two have a chance of winning a general election. Party systems per country. Europe European Union. Two structures of party system have been identified in the European Parliament since its first universal direct election in 1979, albeit the main EU party groups remained the same: 1979 a Euro 1994, a system split in two blocks on the left-right dimension, with the left bloc opposing a right bloc, 1994 onwards, a system in which the three central parties have voted as much with each other as with their smaller allies, thus governing the system, and facing different oppositions from the left and from the right. Italian party systems are usually considered only since the foundation of the Italian Republic, as pre-fascist parties lacked a wide popular base. The party system of the so-called First Republic, though based on a proportional electoral law, saw the dominance of the Christian democracy and the Conventio ad excludendum against the Italian Communist Party. DC and PCI together gathered around 85% of the votes in average. The system was thus a blocked bipolar system. Governments were very short and post-electoral, but the supporting parties and personnel could not change. With time, some parties gained momentum, till reaching the role of government-making in the 1980s. The system was completely destroyed by the bribery scandals of Tangentopoli, which shattered DC and PSI. According to Sartori, the two possible degenerations of proportionalism were reduced by two factors: the strong role of parties and the polarization between Christian Democrats and Communists. Therefore, the First Republic saw a maximum level of 5 effective parties, with only one dominant party. The so-called Second Republic party system bears the following characteristic marks: a majoritarian electoral law, introduced by referendum in 1993, which brought about a bipolarization of the game, the birth of Forza Italia as personal party of Silvio Berlusconi, with a strong polarization effect, the rise of new parties, the split of old parties. Though more fragmented in the number of parties, the system was bipolar in its functioning. With time, both sides saw a strengthening of coalitions and the birth of unified parties. The change in the electoral law in 2005 and the return to proportionality didn't bring about a return to collusion, while still leaving such prospect open for the future. Germany. The 2009 Bundestag election in Germany was characterized by widespread public apathy and record low voter turnout. Weldon and now one Cortese argue that it solidified a new stable, but fluid five-party system that they see as a defining feature of the emerging German political system. The three minor parties each achieved historical bests at the polls with steep losses for the two traditional Volksparteien. They report that the increased volatility and fluidity of the party system is structured along the left-right ideological spectrum, with the parties divided into two major camps and vote switching much more likely within the respective camps rather than between them. The 2009 election also marked a devastating defeat for the SPD, leading some commentators to speculate about the end of the Social Democratic Party of Germany as a catch-all party, and, against the backdrop of recent poor performance of centre-left parties all across Europe, perhaps even the end of social democracy. The 2013 election saw the first time that the Liberal Free Democratic Party, that had been represented in Parliament since 1949 and formed part of government as a coalition partner to either SPD or CDU for almost all of the period from 1949 to 1998 and again from 2009 to 2013, fell below the 5% threshold for parliamentary representation. The same election also saw the rise of the Alternative for Germany party, that ran on an anti-Euro platform and failed to enter parliament on their first federal election, just barely with 4.8% of the vote. After this election, the second GRU coalition since 2005 was formed. Prior to that, Germany had only had one big coalition that governed from 1966 to 1969, preferring coalitions of one big and one small party at the federal level instead. Whether this shift proves temporary or permanent remains yet to be seen. Central and Eastern Europe, four-party systems have been identified in post-communist countries of Central Eastern Europe. I system, dominated by the opposition between communists and anti-communists, that is from supporters and opponents of the old regime. Spontaneous mass movements formed on idealistic basis and transformed into umbrella parties. Two system, opposition between winners and losers of the economic transition to market economy. Anti-communist parties split and formed unstable coalition governments. Many parties, with a narrow political base, grew up. Three system, the social conflicts of market transition aggravated, and social-democratic post-communist parties took over. The party system concentrated, while electoral volatility was extremely high. Four system, rise of a relatively stable and modestly concentrated party system, organized on a left-right dimension, including post-communist parties. Fragmentation did not rise again after the fall of many social-democratic parties from government. Finland was a Grand Duchy controlled by Russia until 1918. Nationalistic demands from the peasants and workers for greater use of the Finnish language led to the first political party, the Finnish Party, in 1860. In response, the Swedish-speaking aristocracy, landowners and businessmen formed their own political party. Thus emerged the first party system. Canada. According to recent scholarship, there have been four-party systems in Canada at the federal level since Confederation, each with its own distinctive pattern of social support, patronage relationships, leadership styles, and electoral strategies. Political scientists disagree on the names and precise boundaries of the eras, however. Steve Patton identifies four-party systems in Canada's political history. The first party system emerged from pre-Confederation colonial politics, had its heyday from 1896 to 1911 and lasted until the conscription crisis of 1917, and was characterized by local patronage administered by the two largest parties, the Liberals and the Conservatives. The second system emerged following the First World War, and at its heyday from 1935 and 1957, was characterized by regionalism and saw the emergence of several protest parties, such as the Progressives, the Social Credit Party, and the Cooperative Commonwealth Federation. The third system emerged in 1963 and had its heyday from 1968 to 1983 and began to unravel thereafter. The two largest parties were challenged by a strong third party, the New Democratic Party. Campaigns during this era became more national in scope due to the electronic media, and involved a greater focus on leadership. The dominant policy of the era was Keynesian economics. The fourth party system has involved the rise of the Reform Party of Canada, the Blockway Copyright Bar Copyright Qua, and the merger of the Canadian Alliance with the Progressive Conservatives. It saw most parties move to one-member one-vote leadership contests, and a major reform to campaign finance laws in 2004. The fourth party system has been characterized by market-oriented policies that abandoned Keynesian policies, but maintained the welfare state. Clarkson shows how the Liberal Party has dominated all the party systems, using different approaches. It began with a clientelistic approach under Laurier, which evolved into a brokerage system of the 1920s, 1930s and 1940s under Mackenzie King. The 1950s saw the emergence of a pan-Canadian system, which lasted until the 1990s. The 1993 election categorized by Clarkson as an electoral earthquake, which fragmented the party system, saw the emergence of regional politics within a four-party system, whereby various groups championed regional issues and concerns. Clarkson concludes that the inherent bias built into the first-past-the-post system has chiefly benefited the Liberals. United States equals. The concept of the party system was introduced by English scholar James Bryce in American Commonwealth. American Party Systems was a major textbook by Charles Merriam in 1920s. In 1967 the most important single breakthrough appeared, The American Party Systems. Stages of Political Development, edited by William Nisbet Chambers and Walter Dean Burnham. It brought together historians and political scientists who agreed on a common framework and numbering system. Thus Chambers published the first party system in 1972. Burnham published numerous articles and books. Closely related is the concept of critical elections, and realignments. A political science college textbook explains, scholars generally agree that realignment theory identifies 5 distinct party systems with the following approximate dates and major parties: 1. 1796 1816, First Party System, Jeffersonian Republicans and Federalists. 2. 1840 1856, Second Party System, Democrats and Whigs. 3. 1860 1896, Third Party System, Republicans and Democrats. 4. 1896 1932, Fourth Party System, Republicans and Democrats. 5. 1932, Fifth Party System, Democrats and Republicans. There have been at least 6 different party systems throughout the history of the United States. First Party System. This system can be considered to have developed as a result of the factions in the George Washington administration. The 2 factions were Alexander Hamilton in the Federalists and Thomas Jefferson in the Democratic-Republican Party. The Federalists argued for a strong national government with a national bank and a strong economic and industry system. The Democratic-Republicans argued for a limited government, with a greater emphasis on farmers and states' rights. After the 1800 presidential election, the Democratic-Republicans gained major dominance for the next 20 years, and the Federalists slowly died off. Second Party System. This system developed as a result of the one-party rule of the Democratic-Republicans not being able to contain some of the most pressing issues of the time, namely slavery. Out of this system came the Whig Party and Henry Clay's American system. Wealthier people tended to support the Whigs, and the poorer tended to support the Democrats. During the Jacksonian era, his Democratic Party evolved from Democratic Republicans. The Whig Party began to break apart into factions, mainly over the issue of slavery. This period lasted until 1860. Third Party System. Beginning around the time of the start of the Civil War, this system was defined by bitter conflict and striking party differences and coalitions. These coalitions were most evidently defined by geography. The South was dominated by the Democrats who opposed the ending of slavery, and the North, with the exception of some major political machines, was dominated by the Republicans, who supported ending slavery. This era was a time of extreme industrial and economic expansion. The Third Party System lasted until 1896. Fourth Party System. This era was defined by progressivism and immigration, as well as the political aftermath of the American Civil War. Northeastern business supported the Republicans while the South and West supported the Democrats. Immigrant groups were courted by both parties. The fourth party system came to an end around 1932. Fifth party system. This system was defined by the creation of the New Deal coalition by President Franklin D. Roosevelt in response to the Great Depression. This coalition supporting new social welfare programs brought together many underprivileged, working class, and minority groups including unions, Catholics, and Jews. It also attracted African Americans, who had previously largely supported the Republican Party due to Lincoln's freeing of the slaves. This era lasted approximately until 1968. Sixth party system. This system is currently developing. It appears to have begun with the Civil Rights Act of 1964, with the Democrats subsequently losing their long dominance of the South in the late 1960s, leading to a Republican dominance as evidenced by election results. Argentina. Scholars of Argentina identified two distinct party systems, one in place between 1912 and 1940, the other emerging after 1946. The first party system was not consistently class-based, but the second was, with the Radical Party representing the middle classes and the Peronists, workers and the poor. Notes. Bibliography, Aronoff, Myron Joel. The Americanization of Israeli Politics and Realignment of the Party System, Israel Studies, Volume 5, Number 1, Spring 2000, pages 92-127, Belloc, Hilaire, and Cecil Chesterton. The Party System. Online edition, On British Politics, Patton, Steve. The Evolution of the Canadian Party System. In Gagnon, Alain G., Tanguay, A. Brain. Canadian Parties in Transition. Broadview pages 55-81. ISBN 978-1-55111-785-0. Gagnon, Alain G. Tanguay, A. Brain. Introduction. In Gagnon, Alain G., Tanguay, A. Brain. Canadian Parties in Transition. Broadview pages 1-14. ISBN 978-1-55111-785-0. Ishiyama, John. Electoral Systems, Ethnic Fragmentation, and Party System Volatility in Sub-Saharan African Countries, Northeast African Studies, Volume 10, Number 2, 2003, pages 203-220, Carvonen, Laurie, and Stein Kuhnle, eds. Party Systems and Voter Alignments Revisited. Updates on Lipset and Rocken. Excerpt and text search, Lewis, Paul G. and Paul Webb, eds. Pan-European Perspectives on Party Politics, Lipset, Seymour M. and Stein Rocken, eds. Party Systems and Voter Alignments, Mannering, Scott, and Timotheus Scully. Building Democratic Institutions, Party Systems in Latin America, Meyer, Peter, ed. The West European Party System. Online excerpt pages 302-310, Meyer, Peter. The Changing Irish Party System, Organisation, Ideology and Electoral Competition. Melishevik, Andrei. A Party Systems in Post-Soviet Countries, A Comparative Study of Political Institutionalization in the Baltic States, Russia, and Ukraine, Sartori, Giovanni. Parties and Party Systems, A Framework for Analysis, Tan, Alexander C. Emerging Party Systems, Tan, Page Johnson. Indonesia 7 years after Suharto, Party System Institutionalization in a New Democracy, Contemporary Southeast Asia, A Journal of International and Strategic Affairs, Volume 28, Number 1, April 2006, pages 88-114, Walk, James. Faction and Front, Party Systems in South India, Ware, Alon. Political Parties and Party Systems, covers France, Germany, Britain, Japan and US. Italy. The Italian Party System Between Crisis and Transition, by Sidney Tarot, The Italian Party System Between Parties and Coalitions, West European Politics, January 1, 2004. Bartolini, Stefano. Chiaramonti, Alessandro. Dalamenti, Roberto, Party System Dynamics and the Making and Breaking of Italian Governments by Daniela Giannettia and Michael Leva, 2001, Remaking the Italian Party System, How Leibhardt Got It Wrong by Saying It Right. West European Politics. October 1, 1993. Calais, Mauro, Deodera, Ivo H. The Italian Party System in Transition, The End of Polarized Pluralism? West European Politics, Volume 6, Issue July 3, 1983, pages 216–236 online, Pradham, Jeffrey. The Nature of the Italian Party System. United States Bartley, Newman 5. Voters and Party Systems, A Review of the Recent Literature, The History Teacher, Volume 8, Number 3, pages 452–469 online at JSTOR, Beck, Paul Allen. Micropolitics in Macro Perspective, The Political History of Walter Dean Burnham. Social Science History 1986 10, 3, 221–245. ISSN 0145-5532 Full text and JSTOR, Brady, David, and Joseph Stewart, Jr. Congressional Party Realignment and Transformations of Public Policy in Three Realignment Eras, American Journal of Political Science, Volume 26, Number 2, pages 333–360 online at JSTOR. Looks at links among cross-cutting issues, electoral realignments, the U.S. House and public policy changes during the Civil War, 1890s and New Deal realignments. In each case the policy changes are voted through by a partisan new majority party. The Civil War and 1890s realignments were more polarized than was the New Deal realignment, and the extent of party structuring of issue dimensions was greater. Burnham, Walter Dean. Periodization Schemes and Party Systems. The System of 1896 feet is a case in point. Social Science History, Volume 10, Number 3, 263–314. Campbell, James E. Party Systems and Realignments in the United States, 1868–2004, Social Science History Fall 2006, Volume 30 Issue 3, pages 359–386, Chambers, William Nisbet, and Walter Dean Burnham, eds. The American Party Systems. Stages of Political Development, Chambers, William Nisbet. Political Parties in a New Nation, The American Experience, 1776–1809, Hofstadter, Richard. The Idea of a Party System, The Rise of Legitimate Opposition in the United States, 1780–1840, James, Scott C. Presidents, Parties, and the State, A Party System Perspective on Democratic Regulatory Choice, 1884–1936, Jensen, Richard. American Election Analysis, A Case History of Methodological Innovation and Diffusion, in S. M. Lipset, ed., Politics and the Social Sciences, 226–43. Jensen, Richard. History and the Political Scientist, in S. M. Lipset, ed., Politics and the Social Sciences 1–28. Jensen, Richard. Historiography of Political History, in Jack Green ed., Encyclopedia of American Political History, 1–25 online, Jensen, Richard. The Changing Shape of Burnham's Political Universe, Social Science History 10–209–19 ISSN, 0145–5532 Full text and JSTOR, Render, Lex. Richard P. McCormick and the Second American Party System. Reviews in American History 23, 2, 378–389. ISSN, 0048–7511 Full text and Project Muse. Sundquist, James L. Dynamics of the Party System, Alignment and Realignment of Political Parties in the United States. External links, Party Systems. A detailed bibliography, Safos, Archive of Recent Electoral Data from 182 Countries.